Hi everyone, this is Diana Fernandez, your reporter for today's video. In this lesson, we will discuss the last topic in translation, which is the basic copy editing and proofreading. And actually, this is just the first part of our discussion because my co-reporter, Miss Scarlett Cordero, will be the one who will present to you the last part of this topic. So, to begin with, let me ask you something. What comes into your mind when you hear the word copy editing? I know that most of you is already familiarized with these words since we are in a field of teaching where we are surrounded by different kinds of book, literary pieces, and manuscript. But today we will learn more what is copy editing. So first, let's discuss copy editing. Copy editing is the process applicable to a multitude of writing fields within the publishing industry. Whether the text is a book, a magazine, a news article, or an advertisement, chances are a copy editor look at it somewhere along the way. Another meaning is that copy editing is the stage in which a piece of writing, the copy, is reviewed and edited to improve its readability. So, in short, copy editing is the revising of the material text. It is the process of correcting errors in a text and making it conform to an editorial style, also called the house style, which include the spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. So, reason why we are doing copy edit. So, the first one is the clarity or defined in terms intended for readers. So, the clarity is the most important style edit. Your goal for clarity edit is that each sentence has only one interpretation. If your document tells your reader what they need to know in the right order, the document succeeds. The second one is the correctness. Correctness in grammar, punctuation, spelling, and usage. Of course, correctness involves fact. Correctness indicates analysis editing in a simple term or the checking all mandatory elements. The third one is conciseness or the briefness. This saves reader time and saves publisher space. Conciseness is the using few words possible to clearly convey an idea. The most important skill for a writer to develop knowing how to write concisely. The shorter the length of your text makes your writing more efficient. And always remember to avoid using flowering words and redundancy of the words. The fourth one is consistency. This is the second important factors in editing is to maintain consistency throughout the work. Means rule-based, following in style house to avoid ambiguity. And the last reason is the courtesy or the respectful wording. Of course, we have to be careful and mindful in every words that we want to include in our text to avoid negative response, judgment, and discrimination. So again, the reason why we are doing copy edit is that clarity, correctness, conciseness, consistency, and courtesy, or the 5 C's. So, in copy editing, of course, we need a copy editors. And who are the copy editors? Copy editors are the one who ensure the style of writing should be consistent and that the text flows organically from one sentence to another. They also check the work for grammar, punctuation, and continuity, providing suggestions on how to best convey the message of the writer. Also, they act as the fact checkers, which is especially necessary if the writing is nonfiction and involves vetting of real information. In short, they are the one who prepares the text for publication by performing this task, and also they are the final gatekeeper before an article reaches the reader. Of course, they want to be sure that the spelling and grammar are all correct. So, what does a copy editor do? First is the format errors. The number one priority for a copy editor is to highlight and suggest corrections to grammatical errors, spelling errors, punctuation errors, and syntax. Although these areas may be tackled by proofreader, but copy editors still need to address as they see them and as they maybe affect the content of the work itself. The second one is that enforces flow. Too many words can bog down a text and confuse the reader. A good copy editor will be able to eliminate superfluous sentence. So when we say superfluous sentence, these are the unnecessary words or the extravagant words that tighten phrases in order to help streamline the writer's story or message. Next is check for consistency. So copy editor's job require you to be detailed oriented. Of course, this is the main responsible of a copy editor to come through a given work and check to make or keep consistent, such as the description, setting, and characters. Also, they notice and change details if possible. And the last one is fact checks. The copy editing process can also involve research, especially when editing non-fiction works. So the copy editors may need to verify specific dates and events to maintain factual. So when do we need a copy editor? Copy editing services are often enlisted by writers or publications before the proofreading stage, but the level of service may vary into the levels of editing. So we have 3 levels of editing. So the first one is the light editing, limited largely to correcting mechanical problems such as the errors in grammar, spelling, punctuations, and reference formats. So, light editing usually focus on the errors in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and reference format. The second one is the medium editing. Also can include, for example, making wording more concise and improving sentence structure. So if the light editing focus on the grammar, medium editing on the other hand focus on the sentence structure. And the last editing is the heavy editing that includes, for example, reorganizing document or rewriting part of it. So again, the 3 levels of editing are light editing, medium editing, and heavy editing. Now let's go on to the 4 kinds of editing. So the first one is substantive editing. This aims to improve the overall coverage and presentation of a piece of writing, its content, scope, level, and organization. The second one is detailed editing. For sense is concerned with whether each section expresses the author's meaning clearly without gaps and contradictions. Of course, with the word detailed, dapat the author's meaning are clearly expressed. Checking for consistency is a mechanical but important task. It involves checking such things as spelling and the use of a single or double quotes, either according to a house style or according to the author's own style. Copy editing usually consists of 2 and 3 plus 4 below. And the last one, editing, is the clear presentation of the material for typesetter. This involves making sure that it is complete and that all the parts are clearly identified. So here are the 6 steps on how to copy edit. So the first is to clarify your role. First, determine what level of copy editing you're providing. So if you are just starting out, then you have to stick more on the basic editing like familiar on the style guide and more substantive editing role. The second one is give the text an initial read-through. Of course, you have to read not just once but twice. Then you have to provide your own notes to help you jot down the important information, and in order for you to familiarize the text and to have a better understanding and knowledge to the writer. The third one is to read it again and make a plan. So after completed your initial reading, of course you have to go back and read again with a few questions with the text, like the styles and also with the author. In that way, you can now analyze your plan. The fourth one is the go line by line. So this time, work your way through each sentence, then implement any line edit or suggestion if necessary. The fifth step is to format the text. Of course, make sure to comply the required format standard. And after that, you can do a final reading. So the significance of copy editing. So a manuscript is a scientific document that provides useful and practical information to the reader. It is important to note that the reader may apply the theory mentioned in a manuscript in a practical life. A significant example in this case is an evidence-based treatment, in which the doctor refers to a research articles to find the best possible treatment for their patients. Thus, the manuscript must be written in clear and easy-to-follow language with a consistent style followed throughout the content. Copy editing the manuscript helps in achieving the above goals. So this is how the edited copy look like. As you can see, you can find there different kinds of symbol. And here are just some of the copy editing symbol. But of course, there are lots of symbol used in copy editing. But for now, let's just have 5 examples of symbol. And each symbol has its own instruction that needs to follow. Now let's proceed to the proofreading. What is proofreading? Proofreading means carefully checking for errors in text before it published or shared. It is the very last stage of the writing process when you fix minor spelling and punctuation mistakes, typos, formatting issues, and inconsistencies. Another one is that proofreading is the process of reviewing the final draft of a piece of writing to ensure consistency and accuracy. So, if the copy editing is the revision of the text, on the other hand, proofreading is the reviewing the final draft of the text. So, in copy editing, we have copy editor. Of course, we also need proofreader during proofreading. So, proofreaders perform reviews and final checks on a written work before it goes to print or become lives on a website. Proofreaders work for newspapers, magazine, website, and publishing companies. They may specialize in specific fields or publications such as the business reports and academic works. So these are just some of the duties and tasks of a proofreader. So they review, proof, and edit content. It's either written or digital across a variety of media and industries to ensure correct spelling, grammar, punctuation, syntax, usage, consistency, and brand voice in the final product. Also, they ensure the accuracy of all reference facts, especially the date, pages, and the values. And double-check cross-reference materials that include in the website and newspaper. Also, they ensure correct usage of page numbers, captions, and heading. Check that all photos or illustrations are correctly captioned, and they mark corrections to be made and revised as necessary. So the main purpose of proofreading is to improve the quality of the paper, ensuring there are no lingering mistakes and correcting generalized discourse errors or writing inconsistencies. Essentially, you want to make sure you have a well-defined communication goal, analyzing whether the content is properly conveyed and the sentences are syntactically and grammatically well written, are just two of the basic tasks to achieve publication-ready work. Specifically, a perfect manuscript ready to publish in the most recognized scientific journal. So one of the basic tools that we usually do copy editing is the manuscript. And manuscript is not just a book, but it contains important information and a practical research. So manuscript is the book that is written for submission to a publisher, or a book, play, or other creative work that is written by hand instead of type. A book composition or any other document written by hand or manually typewritten, not mechanical reproduced. So this time, we will not really focus on the manuscript because Miss Carlot will be the one who will show you on how to copy edit and proofread the manuscript. So here are the difference between copy editors and proofreaders. So copy editors make sure the organization and word usage stay as clear and understandable as possible. A copy editor works to ensure the reader will not get lost in extraneous detail or bogged down by poorly structured phrases. A copy editing job may also involve research of a written topic and a vetting of sources. On the other hand, proofreaders have a slightly more basic role. They're the real spell checkers, combining for typos and any other aesthetic issues like misplaced word breaks or missing pages. Proofreading is the final step of a text where any remaining fine-tuning is given before publishing. And take note that copy editors and proofreader has a big role in our industry. And their job is not easy as what others think of. So, for those who want to be a copy editor and proofreader in the near future, make sure that you are knowledgeable enough and you have the expertise in this kind of field in order for you to easily be one of these editor someday. So I think this will the end of my reporting, and again, thank you everyone for giving your time in listening and understanding my reporting. And again, this is just the first part of our discussion, and Miss Carol Cordero will introduce and show to you on how to copy, edit, and proofread a manuscript. So again, thank you everyone and have a good day.